Alright, to start off, we're going to start with the locomotives that I bought, I think. So, here we see Union Pacific 9505, and its twin over here, 9500. And these engines are both B40-8Ws. The first one, 9505 here, is powered and it has lights in it. It was the one you just saw hauling that train with all the hopper cars on it. And the other unit is not powered. It does have a motor in it, I guess. It was powered. But at this point, the rods that would run the wheels that were connected to the motor were too short and would not stay in when it tried to run, so it has no power to the motor right now. If I wanted to put power back to it, I'd just have to put put longer rods in there and put the gears back in. So right now it's just a dummy engine, but that's alright. It works well as an A-B set if I would want to model some Union Pacific action like I just did. So I guess there's that. More about these individual units. They're both B40-8Ws. This one, I think it's the 9505, has the horns are loose, which, you know, a little super glue, that's no problem. The horns on this engine are crooked. They're not loose, but they're maybe a little bit loose, but they're crooked on there. And so that's just a little bit of a OCD problem. I don't know if anybody else out there has that when stuff on their locomotives isn't right, but that's that. For the purposes of my model railroad, the Garrison, David City, and Southern, I didn't have any Union Pacific power before this, and now I do. I had all BNSF power and some Southern Pacific engines, which is supposed to be like the heritage style of paint on the GDC and S, plus that EMD leased dummy. But other than that, not really much for power. I got these engines both from the same guy who I bought one of the grain cars from, that you'll see in a little bit. Well, you already saw it, but you'll see it again, and I'll talk a little bit more about it, I guess. These were both $25, and the total at that booth came up to, I think, somewhere around $72, I think, for both engines in the one car. And so, let's move on to the next one. So this is Burlington Northern GP 50 3114. It even has the whole side logo on there, which I think is pretty cool. That has a bright light in there. The locomotive itself does have a motor in it. It's not hooked up just like the other ones. Well, not a connecting rod or whatever, that it was too short, but I just took the gears out of it because it wasn't conducting electricity. It would cut the electricity to the cab for the light, but for power it would just short it out. And now it runs around the track fine and won't shut off the controller. I was running it with the one BNSF Jeep, the Heritage 1 Jeep that I have, 2501, and it kept shorting it out. So on the actual layout, not on this temporary easy track thing I have on my floor. But I'm going to shut that light off because it might be easier to see then. So it's a tiger striped GP50. I think these were earlier probably more to the mid 1980s, I think. I'm not exactly sure. And I don't know if BNSF actually owns any of these. I'm pretty sure that they all got repainted, but I could be wrong. And if somebody is wrong, I'd love to see pictures, because that's always something interesting to me. Railroad history and whatnot. And this locomotive was $35 from a booth. I bought something else from them, but we'll get to that in a second, because that's freight car set. Yeah, this booth was full of stuff. And it was used stuff, but some of it was more used than others, and some of it was old plastic, you know, I don't know, Bachman or whatever. Really old stuff, or Tyco maybe, but I didn't want any of that. Normally I don't buy used locomotives, but with my budget that I had this year, I needed to, well, I didn't need to, but I found the cheaper ones and tried to clean them up as best as I could once I got home to clean the wheels. That's why the other Union Pacifics I just showed you, they worked so well, and this one works so well. I'm not sure what, I guess I didn't say this with the Union Pacifics. I'm assuming the Union Pacific engines were probably Athearn or Walthers. I don't really know. But this engine, I don't think it says it. I don't know what. I don't know. I think it's probably Athearn model, but I'm not 100% sure, because I don't keep track of what the model maker is usually. When it comes to this stuff, I just go more for the looks, I guess. I don't know. But I do know that Walthers is a really good brand to buy newer engines from. I have an Ace, a BNSF Ace, and it is really good. So I do recommend them. Bachman stuff is a little bit different, though. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend all of their stuff. I don't know how to put it. It's good, it runs good, but it's loud sometimes and needs a tight adjustment, or a slight adjustment here and there, you know, to make it quieter. Maybe some lubrication too, I don't know. Because I have another BNSF Jeep that came in a Bachman train set, and it runs loud. But that's okay, because their trains are supposed to run loud. Okay, so let's go on to the next thing. The last engine. Okay, this is Santa Fe War Bonnet C44-9W, number 601. I bought this from a group that was selling their all new stuff. It's called Spring Creek Model Trains. They're located in Deschler, Nebraska, if you ever want to go to their store. It's really great. Lots of merchandise, full store, huge store, basically every gauge, I think. A lot of HO stuff. And this engine, they said, I think, if I was listening, overhearing them right, because I wasn't really paying attention, but I think this unit and a bunch of other Santa Fe stuff that was there, and a bunch of freight cars too that were out of boxes, sitting just in cardboard boxes, not in their actual boxes that they would have came with. I believe that they were from some man's collection, and he either donated it to them, or he died and they bought it. I think this is a Athearn locomotive. It has metal grab irons and walkway on the side. This sort of the last one, but the other two had plastic. This engine has bidirectional lighting. What I mean by that is, if you run it forward, the front light comes on, but I'll show you if you run it backwards, I mean. Maybe it only has one direction, actually. Let's see. I know the front light does. The front light is pretty dim on this track. It's not the best to show you, but all metal railings on there. That's pretty nice. Like I said before, I have BNSF stuff running on my model railroad. That's basically all the power I have, other than the Union Pacific stuff now, but and a CNW engine and whatever. But this engine I thought would be a neat addition, because you rarely see BNSF freight trains where I live, that is. It seems like either every ethanol train or corn syrup, mile-long corn syrup train or grain train, it always seems like there's at least one war bonnet on them. There's a lot of them that come through Garrison, where I film a lot of my trains at. Not so much with the Burlington engines anymore, but I caught a couple leading an ethanol train a few years ago. In my next BNSF Bellwood subdivision video, I will show you a Union Pacific engine on a power move that I caught about 2 weeks ago. I guess it was a week ago yesterday. And anyway, so this engine, it's really nice. I like it. The only problem is with my layout, I didn't really pay attention when putting on the curves. And so six axle units like this C44 -9W don't like to take the curves. On this easy track, though, it will, because it's nice and flat and straight, or to a certain degree or whatever. But the other ones don't. I guess I didn't mean it like that. I guess the other track, it doesn't like to run on the other track. It likes straight track, but when it comes to the corners, there's either the very front wheel or the very back wheels, axles will derail. Whatever, but that's okay too. I can run them, but I just got to be real careful about how fast I go and all that. And some of them handle curves better when they go faster. I don't know if there's any solution to that other than tearing up track and retrying it. I guess let me know in the comments. But it's okay if there's not too, because I can always just set up this track or just put it on the siding or whatever, like it, for storage or whatever. But I don't plan to do that. So let's move on from the war bonnet to the I didn't mention this unpatched, and it's nice bright red. I don't know how many unpatched war bonnets are left on BNSF now, but the ones that I've seen recently are either fake bonnets or just they have the yellow patch. But anyway, let's move on to some freight cars. So this set of freight cars came from the person or table or vendor or whatever that was selling the Burlington engine. This is a set of 5 Athearn cars. We have CNW 178709. They're all CNW hoppers with the dark green paint. And then a Clemmy Co-op car. It's pink. It says CNW 182992. And then a blue grain car with the CNW reporting marks. It's 463017. Then a yellow CNW hopper. I see a lot of these around here on like the Nebraska Central and whatever when they're parked at the elevators getting filled up. This is 179047. And another one of those dark green ones. This one has a side emblem that would be, I guess, screwed on there probably, or bolted on if it were an actual car. And this is CNW 178832. And so all these cars were in a box, a new box basically, very lightly used. And the only problem was the coupler on this side, which is the side without the handbrake, this coupler was loose. That's the only problem I had with this set. it was $75. So plus that other engine, it was a total of about $110, and it's a great set. So that's about $15 per car. I did the math, and it's a nice little set. And for most of the new stuff, it's like $30, pretty cheap. So let's move on to some other great cars. Okay, so the next car that I bought is CSX grain car, number 247220, and this car is similar to one I had that got taken away and never given back to me when I was younger, and the person who took it away doesn't know where they put it, so that's fine too. But I bought another one. The other one was weathered, I think. I had that one, and it was a BN grain car too. It was all the similar type, with the more smooth sides, not the ribbed like the C&W hoppers. Excuse me. There isn't much else to say other than that. It probably could use some weathering. So could basically all the cars I bought. I like the weathering on that BN engine that I had before, because everything else is basically not. But I guess maybe the cars just got cleaned or something. I know they don't probably do that very often, or they're all new. So that's that. Next is Rio Grande, another hopper. I bought all hoppers this year again. Rio Grande, the Action Road, Denver Rio Grande Western, 15627. I wonder, actually, I have another one that's similar to this. I wonder if it's the same road. Hold on. Oh, nope. So here's another car. Here's another car. It doesn't have wheels anymore, but it's the Action Road. It's number 15247. So just a couple different digits there. There's that if you needed to see that. The last car, it was from the same people that sold that Santa Fe engine that came with that set. This one is the same people that sold that those Union Pacifics. And these people, I buy stuff from these people all the time when I go to this train show. It's a once yearly thing. But I guess this is about it for this car. I'm assuming it's probably maybe Athearn or Walthers. I don't know. It's pretty nice quality. I don't know if it would be a Bachmann or not, but then again, I don't really know. So put that one with the rest of the train and move on to the last car. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those ethanol trains or crude oil trains or anything that have these cars that say buffer service only. It'd be the front and the back of the train. I'm going to derail it here for a second. See, it says buffer service only on here. It's a buffer car. I only got 3 ethanol cars, but excuse me again. This is BNSF. You see a lot of trains with buffer cars, but they're mostly ADM stuff around here. I don't know, just see what it says here. Buffer service only. Do not load. Interior lining plasite. And whatever is applied. Do not run the car with hatches open and all sorts of caution reading stuff if you want to get into that on your own. This car does not. Here, I'll show you like this. If you notice here, most of the other freight cars that I own have some sort of reporting marks here. This one only has the load limit and the limited weight, I think it is, on there. plus the maintenance of way or MW sticker or stencil. But if you flip it around, you see it's BNSF 808133. And I only ever remember seeing, I think, one boxcar type grain car, whatever this is. Not necessarily a hopper, but whatever that you call this type of car on the going along the tracks that I live along. I only think I've ever seen one. And it was an ADM one. Maybe there was two. There might have been another one about a year ago, but the other one was several years. Oh, I forgot to mention prices. This car was $12. This one was $17. And this one was $18. And I got this from a vendor called House of Trains. And along with that, my bag was pretty full. So I got a nice little House of Trains reusable bag. I got one from Deschler last year too. One of these type of bags with the Spring Creek Model Trains one logo on it. So there's their information. Really nice people. Get the transaction done quick. And it said $18 on the sticker. It was $18, no tax. Not like some of these other ones. Well, most of the used stuff vendors. But this was new. I'd assume that it was either on sale or they're just really nice for the train show and they don't put tax on stuff. So that's that. That's my sales purchases from the 2018 train show. I'm going to do a little bit of favorites now because I think my favorite freight cars I purchased, just making sure those don't derail. My favorite freight cars were all the CNW freight cars. You know, and I already went through these. I'm not going to go through them again. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the type of car that I like. I don't really know. But then again, that Rio Grande one was one too. And that's got plastic wheels in it. It's just plastic wheels don't really like my track as much, I guess. It's easier to run with metal. Favorite locomotive? This is a toughie. Because I guess I'm going to have more than one. Probably my most favorite was the Santa Fe engine. The war bonnet. My second favorite probably be 9505. Because actually, I wouldn't have bought that Santa Fe engine if I would have found the correct thing, but I never found it. I was looking for a B40-8. Yeah, I said that right. B40-8W, like this, except with war bonnet colors. I found a BNSF one with a standard cab instead of one of these comfort cabs or whatever they're called. But that's not what I wanted. And that would be from the same place I bought the BN engine. And I wasn't going to spend $55. That's, for a used engine, I think that's too much unless it really runs great. But it was like Walther's Trainline, I think. I know Walther's is good, but you don't know what kind of condition stuff is in, so you gotta be buyer beware. So those are my favorite locomotives because they're powered. Then we have our twin engine. And lastly, the Burlington engine. I really like the weathering on the BN unit though, so I don't know. It can be used, I guess, on... I can unhook the light if that's the thing causing problems and put all them parts back in the motor. But as of right now, I guess it caused me problems yesterday, so I don't know. But I do like both of these units. All four of the locomotives are great. I do recommend going to this train show. The prices are reasonably low. So if you're in a at a point where you don't have enough thousands and thousands of dollars to spend on train stuff from a new store, I recommend these train shows because you can find some nice stuff pretty cheap most of the time, and even the new stuff is sometimes on sale. Last year I bought my SD70 Ace for only $104 as compared to what the original price was, like $150 something. So they really dropped their price on that. That was nice. Excuse me again. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, I know that there's a lot of people who are. Like and subscribe to my nephew's channel. Check that out as Black Ops 2 Master or BO2 Master. I don't know what he changed his name to. Up on the channel banner, that's where the links are and stuff. And go follow my Facebook account for this channel that's in the description. I think it's also linked on the channel art banner thing. And the Twitter. Follow that. I only got a few followers. None of my subscribers have followed me on that yet. That was only in the description a couple times though, so that's nothing bad. And to everybody who's new within the last about month, it's great to have you. I welcome you, and I really hope you enjoy all my content. Remember to like the videos and share them if you want. Just make sure people know where they came from. And thanks for watching.